game 3 and 4, like, what are you expecting from the Leafs come Friday night and Sunday night?
Like in the past years, like truthfully, as a Leafs fan, like I would expect them to wither a little. And I don't like. I just think it's the idea that like they're up and you have guys like a Willie Nylander who we all know how good he is and how confident he is, and he's a very like nonchalant guy in the media. It seems like even behind the scenes, he's just happy to do his own thing, and he's not very high, not very low. And when you see him, and this is not an indictment on his playoffs, it's the opposite. He's been the best player on the Leafs thus far. Like, I don't think that's questionable, but there's times in the past where if you see him like maybe not back checking, people automatically are like, you're not invested. And we've seen that a lot in the past with some of the core 4 players not performing. And now they have the grasp on this lead. But I think now that they have Craig Berube at the helm, there's been so much like more confidence that he's instilled probably in his team. And I think the fan base feels a little bit better because even when the Leafs get down a goal or two, they're not out of it at any stretch. We've seen this time and time again, especially in this series when they've either held the lead and it's been close. Matthew Knies puts the puck in. They're down 1-0. They're down 2-1. Max Domi or someone else, Pacioretty, for example, comes in clutch. So they're never out of it. So I think that Florida's going to be humming early. First 10 minutes in Sunrise, I think Wall's going to get peppered with shots. But I really still think that the Leafs are going to be resilient as much as possible. I think if I were to predict the outcome of the games, I think they split them. I do think Florida takes the third game just because pure adrenaline. But I do think that Craig Berube is going to like get the guys in order and be like this is the Demons. Let's squash them right now and let's move on and let's take game 4. And if you win game 4, you're up 3-1. We can do this. So I do think that they split the series. And I just think that they do their best to quell Florida, at least in the second half of this home series, home advantage for the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's only really 3 outcomes, right? Like it's either they sweep Florida, which I don't think anybody's really expecting that. I mean, looking at the way the games have played out, it's not entirely impossible, but yeah, that wouldn't be my first choice. Obviously, they could take the 3-1 lead. I think, Alex, that's a very, very literal way of looking at things. Like the way that the games, again, have played out, the Leafs have been the better team. I think they deserve to win both games. They're in a position now where, yeah, if they split these games, I don't think anybody would be too surprised. That's probably the way I would lean as well. But if they give up to Florida at home and they're coming back, to Toronto in Game 5 with a split, I think going into the series you would have taken that. But I feel like at this point now, if that were to happen, I think it would almost be like it would feel at least in the city, the vibe would be like almost a disaster. It would feel like they really squandered or missed an opportunity, whatever you want to say. And then, the pressure would really be on. So it feels like 3-1 is really their best chance to come back and obviously end the series early. But yeah, I don't think anybody would feel great unless the game's played out maybe in overtime or two, or the games are just as close as they've been, and it's really just hard to choose who the better team is. But with Florida's recent experience, and if they look to start to gain momentum, I think it would be very scary if they came back to Toronto tied at 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think like if they don't, it would be a missed opportunity to take a stranglehold on this series. And I think Leafs fans, like you said, would feel like kind of let down in the sense that you didn't go and get that 3-1 lead. I don't think that they're going to sweep either. I think 3-1 though is a split. It's funny though. We talked about all season long, like how they can't match up. That's the one team they suck matching up against. And it's funny what a playoff coach can do for you in like Craig Berube. It's really remarkable considering like you would think the way we saw the Leafs play the Panthers in the regular season and how they're playing them right now, it's two totally different things. Like in the regular season, they seemed to have no space and they weren't able to connect passes. They weren't able to break out of their own zone. Right now, like they're playing unbelievable hockey, like some of the best hockey I think we've seen them play all season long. So it's just remarkable to see what they've done. Anyway, moving on to
I just have one more thought, Justin,
go ahead.
The fans, because I think what you said, Brandon, was very key. If at the beginning of the series, if you fast forwarded to Game 5 and there was a split, I think everyone would take it The Leafs fans don't matter. It's all about the team. Like, they're the ones on the ice. But obviously, I went on a rant I think it was last week, where Leafs were up 3-1, and then they lost game 5. And it was like a pretty obviously their worst playoff game this year. But people were going insane. And I think this is just another exercise to be like, let's all just calm down. This team does look a lot different. It looks like they're in control. You would have taken whatever outcome after game 4. Like, any outcome is fine. Like, you obviously would love the sweep or 3-1, like we're saying. But if you come out of it and Florida wins both, like, it's in a way not surprising because it's home advantage. You did the same thing in Toronto. Let's all just calm down and let's just trust that this team can handle it like they haven't done it in past years. Let's not go crazy as a fan base because no one's listening. You're just talking to yourself and everyone's just making themselves sicker. I think it's just patience is the virtue here, is my thought.
I agree, and I think the Florida Panthers are the defending Stanley Cup champions for a reason.
Yeah.
They're not going to go down without a fight.